Welcome, everybody, to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about how to stay focused on high priority activities with our host, Darryl Davis,
Hang on, it's not working.
to
Wait a
get the
second,
most
Julie.
from
Wait,
today's
whoa, whoa,
webinar.
whoa. Okay, go ahead, Jewel. We're okay.
Okay, to get the most from today's webinar, we want you to take really good notes, and we want you to use that Q&A panel there to ask any questions at any time throughout the webinar. Don't stress if we don't get to them right away. We will be taking those at the end, and if you don't have to bounce at the end of the hour, we'll stay as long as there's questions. So we're here for you guys to coach and answer your questions. If you want to reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually one of the best-selling books to real estate agents on Amazon. Darryl was named by Risk Media Magazine as one of the top real estate newsmakers in 2021 in the Big-Hearted and Brave category. He's also the recipient of the coveted CSP designation, which is only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. On that note, Darryl, I can't wait to see what you have to say today.
All right, Jules, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm very excited to be sharing this moment with you. I have a couple more things to go over. Some of you that have been on these webinars before, you know, I kind of open up pretty much the same way each time. I do want, because we have every week we have somebody who's a group of people who are new to these webinars. So I like to always address this question that people have in their heads. Is this webinar a sales pitch? It absolutely is not. You're going to learn a tremendous amount, but I want to be transparent and explain what this webinar is. It's part of a weekly training program that we do for our members, our power agents. So some of you are on this call are not a power agent. You are what we consider a guest. So we're really happy that you're here. But guests, the reason why I'm sharing that with you now is because given that the webinar is for power agents, from time to time, I'm going to be speaking directly to the power agents, pointing something out on the website that's part of their membership, etc. But regardless, you are going to get a tremendous amount from the content that I'm going to share with you. Okay. Now, with that said, for the guest, let me just get that other question out of your head, which is, what is a power agent, right? It is our coaching program, which is locked in at $47 a month. People who decide to sign up to become a power agent, they lock in that price. If you're a guest, if you want to kick the tires and try it for a month, you can. It's only $5. You get complete access to everything that active power agents get. There's nothing restricted. You can cancel anytime, so you're not locked in during the trial, after the trial. And you get a tremendous amount of bonuses. And just to kind of show you, this is like for the guests, if you decide that you want to try the program, you'll get everything that's on the screen emailed to you. And even if you cancel the next day, you get to keep everything. So how cool is that? So we don't encourage that. But there is something I do want to point out. Part of the bonuses and also power agents, there is a business plan. And there's the predictions for 2022. The way we wrote the predictions, though, it's more for you to use with buyers and sellers as an objection handler. So that's really what we created those predictions for, to help move people off the fence. One other thing that we've added to the bonuses today is we just published our first magazine. And we're really proud of this magazine. So this is in addition to everything else that we do. This magazine is actually 48 pages, and it's a print magazine. And it's included for our power agents. And we just mailed them out. They're hitting the streets still to this day. But as a guest, you can get a digital version of it if you decide that you want to become a power agent as well. Now, I do want to talk to the power agents before I get into the content. So just give me about 90 seconds. Power agents, I want to announce that we are having next Thursday. Julie, is that the right date? It's February 3rd. Is that next? That is next Thursday, right?
Yes.
Right?
No.
Okay. So, so next Thursday, we are doing our brainstorming session, which is just for the power agents. And it's, I just want to tell the power agents that we started doing this last year. just randomly. And boy, oh boy, it's been incredible, the content that comes out of this, because everybody's bringing to this call ideas that they're actively using. So this goes above and beyond what I'm teaching, what I'm training. This is tapping into the thousands of power agents sharing their stuff. The last one that we did, every one that we do, we summarize in an e-guide book of here's the best amazing ideas from that brainstorming. And I'll tell you, power agents, I think these brainstorming sessions are becoming even more valuable than the membership just by themselves, right? So this is included in the membership, so make sure you participate next Thursday. The other last announcement I have is, power agents, please pay attention to the emails that we send out to you. Every week we're sending out, I think, 4 or 5 emails. The emails are not, they're actually training emails. Like this last one that we sent out, there was how to present a price range to a homeowner as opposed to a CMA saying this is what your house is worth. So we talked about that, some tips on how to touch base with people. Also, we made an announcement about the Power Agent Print Portal, which is new. We just launched that last week, where you can print and mail from the portal, in addition to all the training material, a summary of the coaching call, the Q&A on Tuesdays, the CRM that we have. So power agents, do me a favor, make sure you pay attention to those emails that we send to you, because they're not fluff, they're actual training emails. Okay, let's get ready into this session. This session is some of the webinars that I do every week. You know, I'll go wide on a topic where I'll cover a bunch of little things, and then there's some that I go really deep. This particular session, we're going to go deep on how to get more focused on high priority activities. So that's the title. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to start writing if you haven't already started to write. And here we go. The first thing I want to address with you is the question, what is a high priority activity? Now, I'm going to tell you something. In my opinion, what I'm about to share with you is one of the most important slides that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I'm going to say it again, get us all into the space of this training, because it's about being high priority focus. What is a high priority activity? I am going to give you the simple and yet powerful, succinct definition for a real estate professional what a high priority activity is. It's an 8-task item that generates a conversation with buyers or sellers. I'm going to say that again. It's a task, like an A task, best task, that generates a conversation that you're going to have with somebody who wants to sell a house or buy a house. That's it. It's an activity that generates a conversation. That's your highest priority activity that we need to focus on. Now, I'm going to even simplify it even more. To have that happen, here's what your job should be. This is your focus as a business person, at least that's what I believe it should be, is to talk to someone about buying real estate and talking to somebody about selling real estate. Every single day, you should be committed to generating those 2 conversations, one with a buyer and one with a seller. Every morning you wake up, that should be your focus. Not some of all the busy work that we do. This is very important what I'm saying to you, gang, because part of distraction, what causes distraction, listen, what causes distraction is the lack of a commitment to something that you need to be committed to. See, when you're super committed to something, like you're committed to it. Like I always talk to parents, because parents, it's real clear, like we're committed to our children. When you look at your children, those of you that are parents, and even those that are not, you can relate to this. You're a child to somebody, and so you can still relate to this. That a parent, when they have their children, they don't usually say, I'm too busy. I can't do for my kid. I can't pick the kids up at school, or I can't make sure the kids are taken care of, and that I don't have dinner for the kids. You're never too busy for your kids. Why? Because you're clearly committed to it. You have your life work around the children, your commitment to the children. If part of the distractions of real estate professional is when we don't have this kind of clarity that I just gave you. When you have this, you're not distracted by so many of the other things. All right, as a matter of fact, here's what I recommend you do. And I gave this We created this for power agents, a simple little form. Yes, you can do that. Take a piece of paper and create this. Challenge yourself for 30 days to say, you know what? I'm going to have one conversation with a seller, one with a buyer every day for 30 days. And hang this sucker up in your face. Why? To keep you focused on the commitment to having one conversation with a seller, one with a buyer. Now, as you have these conversations, give yourself a little line, a little thing. You know how they do in prison when they're counting the days on the wall? The same thing on the chart here. Just put a line there. I had one over here. Let me ask you a question. If you had one conversation with a buyer, one conversation with a seller every day for 30 days, and 60 conversations in a month, do you think that might have some kind of impact in your business? Can I get an amen? I think it might. So first thing is focus on those 8 task items that'll generate a conversation. Let me give you some examples. So open house, calling a FSBO, calling an expired, stopping by past clients to give them a gift. Everything other than that are B items. Here's B items. Getting your listing appointment organized. Changing your website, learning a new software, getting organized. Now, let me just clarify something here with what I'm talking about here. Are these tasks, these B tasks, are they not important? Yes, they are very important, but they're not urgent. They're not A. There's a difference between important versus urgent. Not everything that's important is urgent. What's always should be urgent for us is those things that are going to generate a conversation of value. Let me share something else with you that might help crystallize your thinking. You can break real estate into these 3 phases that generate revenue. There's the lead gen aspect, right? Where you're the initial contact with somebody. Then you have the lead nurture, because the first contact is not always going to turn into business. The final one is where they actually become a client or it actually generates revenue. So for example, a lead gen item might be FSBOs, expireds, doing an open house, talking to a referral, any inquiry that comes in to your business from postcard mailings, from other mailings, newsletters, e-newsletters, online advertisement, Facebook, etc. Now, once you have that conversation, you want to get it down the pipeline as much as possible and as quickly as possible. So you start to nurture. You're going to have that listing appointment where you're actually belly to belly, face to face with that seller. You have a follow-up to that listing appointment. Buyers, you have a discovery meeting. This is a new term, Jules, that we're coming out with, the buyer discovery meeting. That is the first meeting face-to-face with a buyer where you sit down with them and you discover their commitment and what they're trying to. We're calling it a discovery meeting. What do you think, Jules?
I love it.
All right, good. There's more. I know, just throwing it at you. The next thing is showing buyers.
Me.
I surprised you. She's probably dealing with an emergency behind the scenes. All right, so we've got a lead gen, our lead nurture, and then simply when they get to this place, which is their client, their actual business, you're in contract or it's a closed transaction. So gang, what we want to do, this is our business plan. This is what we should be focusing on. This will help us stay focused on those high priority activities that are going to generate revenue for our business. Now, I want to give you some motivational devices to help you and to think about, because I'm very big into our part of what power agents, you have access to all of these things that you can hang up. I'm a big fan of hanging things up. And the reason why is the problem, any one of these things you're looking at, you could probably have it on a software, an Excel, a Word document, whatever, PowerPoint, but I love printing and hanging. Why? Because you don't have to boot up a computer. You don't have to open up an app to see it. Like when you go to your workspace, this is hanging up in your face. If I could show you some of the things in my office, you would see what I'm talking about here. One of our power agents, Erica Bassett, it looks like she started printing out everything that we have for power agents to help them stay focused. That's her power agent wall. And I'll show you just some of the things, what these are, so you can understand and relate to them. One of them is the agent tracker activity. Keep in mind, if our job is an A task is something that will generate a conversation with a buyer or seller. Here's an example. You calling past 5 clients could generate a conversation. Sending out letters could generate a conversation. Of course, calling FSBOs or expireds or past referrals or posting a social media video. These are activities that are high priority activities, gang. The more you do this, the more you're going to achieve your next level in your business. Now, what we did here as a game for Power Agents is to have these columns. You can see with the days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the game is you want to do at least 1 or 2 items every single day that is an A task that's going to generate a conversation with a buyer or seller. We created this bingo thing. Well, actually, Julie did behind my back. I thought this was hysterical when I saw it, which obviously you all know how to play bingo, but it's the same concept. You hop on a coaching call. You got hung up on. That's a good thing. Reached out to 5 past clients, called 2 FISBOs. What else do we have here? Worked on your CRM. Now, some of these activities are B activities, so they're not urgent, but they're still important. And these will also help support one another. This is one of my favorites, which is the listing inventory chart. We also know that real estate has suffered in having a lack of inventory. And let me tell you something, though, gang. This 2022 is going to be the year of inventory. That's what I believe in my heart. If 2021 was the year of still pandemic or a lack of inventory, I think 2022 is going to be the year of inventory. We're going to start to see more and more listings coming to the market. We're going to see things not selling so quick, staying, because we've gotten to that point financially. Interest rates starting to go up. We have the inflation. There's a lot of things that say, you know what, things are going to not move as quick. Therefore, we're going to see more and more inventory. This inventory chart is the concept is this: instead of just getting listings, you focus on building inventory. So let's just, so you get the concept, if you had 6 listings listed with you and 4 of them go into contract, that looks like a really good month for January. The problem is that your inventory just went down by, I don't know, 80%, whatever that percentage is. Here's the interesting thing about the concept of the listing inventory chart. Whatever that chart's doing, it kind of looks into the future of your cash flow, meaning that whatever the chart's doing, so is your cash. There'll be a delayed reaction because when those 4 listings go into contract and they close, you'll have a surge that month. But if you didn't restock the shelves of your inventory, you're going to have a problem the following month. So what we want our inventory chart is to look like this. And I will tell you, if this is what your inventory chart looks like in 2022, so is your cash flow. These are just, gang, now I'm teaching the chart, but here's the point. The point on staying focused on high priority activities is whatever's going to help empower you to stay focused on doing the A tasks, the high priority tasks, the tasks that will generate listing, a conversation with a seller or with a buyer. Here's another example is, we have this, what's called the dot board and combination next level chart. So if you were to visualize what this year is going to look like, 2022, 2023, and you created a visual board, we've all heard of vision boards. But the other part that I want to focus on is the dot board. What's cool about the dot board, it's gamified. Now, power agents that are watching, listen, I want to talk to power agents for a second. Some of you have heard me talk about the dot board before. Here's my question. Are you using it? Sometimes when you go to a movie or you see a movie for the second or third time, you see things that you didn't see before. Like right now, we're watching Ozark from the season 1 again, because we're getting ready for to watch the one that just came out, the season 4. When you see things a second time or a third time, you see things you didn't the first time. So what I'm going to encourage the power agents that are here and that have been with me for a while, are you actually doing this? Are you actually implementing the dot board? Because it will. Every power agent that has been really successful in this process, they tell me they learned the dot board years ago and they're still using it today. See, when you go out and get a listing, you give yourself a dot, that's an immediate reward. You acknowledge yourself. You get another dot. Your brain gets addicted to want to get these dots because you get rewarded. I don't want to compare ourselves to pets, but I got some pets, and when I keep rewarding them, I train them to want to do the thing that I'm rewarding them for. I believe you and I are the same way. If we keep rewarding and acknowledging ourselves for successful things, we want to do more of that. I mean, is that what we do with our children as well? That's the whole concept of the dot board. It gamifies your business. You acknowledge yourself for that success. Power agents, if you go to the classroom and then you go to the next part, which is time and money management, you will see all of these charts that I just showed, plus more. There's more charts. I only have an hour with you for you to actually start looking at what's going to empower you to use in your business. Now, here's the next part of what this training, what I'm going to do. Is I sat down, I said, all right, what if, when you look at buyers and you look at sellers, what are the 8 priority activities? Like, what are things that everybody can do, guests included, after this webinar that's going to help them in their business to generate those conversations with buyers and sellers? Let me share with you specific ideas for buyers, then with sellers, and then I've got some miscellaneous at the end. One of the high priority activities that you can do that will help you generate those conversations with buyers is open houses. Now, I put this little note there and I highlighted it in yellow because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to say this to you. In the hot market that we've experienced, some of us might say, you know what, Darryl, I don't even have time to do an open house. I don't need to do an open house. Now, if I get a listing and if it's priced fair, I'm going to have multiple offers right away. So there's no point in doing an open house. Yes, you need to do an open house. Even on the hot listing, it's going to move quickly. Here's why. Because the point of the open house is not to sell the open house. The point of the open house is to generate buyers to help them put into your business. That's the point why you do it. Not to mention the fact that if you have an open house and you have a huge turnout, you have a line of people, which, by the way, I'm going to tell you, you say everybody's wearing masks. If there's one of the takeaways for me as a sales trainer and as a marketing person about this pandemic, even if this thing gets eradicated and we never have to wear masks again, I would still encourage my power agents to do an open house and have there be one person at a time come into the house and everybody wait. Why? Because that line in front of that house is incredible marketing to all the other neighbors in that area. When they see a line and they see flags, it's a powerful, powerful tool to generate additional calls from the neighbors want to know, maybe we should sell our house. Wow, look at the activity. My goodness gracious. So part of why we do the open houses is not to sell the house, but to also generate more business. Here's now what you need to do. Part of that, this task, high priority task, is make sure you follow up after an open house. Contact every single person after that open house. Power agents, we gave you the whole dialogue. I want to focus on just one part of the dialogue and following up with them. Hi, the reason why I was calling is the house that you came to, if you remember, it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. I just have a question. Is that the style and price range you're looking for? Because there's new listings that are coming on the market that are really awesome. So you have to keep in mind, when anybody that's come to your open house, if they didn't put an offer in right away, they're not going to. So you need to entice them with something else. That's why that sentence is so important. If you're looking in this bedroom, this price range, bedrooms and baths, this is another house that looks like it just came to the market or it's going to come to the market. So is that what you're looking for? Then you invite, you set up that appointment, and you'll notice in the dialogue that it says, in my office, we have something called the 6-step buying process. It's designed to help you to find the right house with the least amount of aggravation. So what I like to do is find the time when we come together and I can share with you this valuable process, and we can take a look at some amazing new listings that are coming out on the market as well. So what you want to do is schedule that discovery meeting with the face-to-face with the buyers, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Some of you, the people are not going to answer. You follow up on the open house. They love texting. So text them. Text them as a way of a contact. For example, you can text them, thanks for attending our open house at Bada Bing. We had a strong turnout, so please reach out if you have any questions about the property ASAP. Now, let me tell you something. Is that an awesome text? You darn spanky it is. Why? Because it's a contact. It's telling we had a great turnout. Don't miss out. Get in touch with me as soon as possible, but you're not telling me, hey, you want to make an offer? It's not too aggressive. There's a great balance to that text. Hi, Mary, are you still looking for a home in that Bada Bing area? Because some new properties that came to the market you may be interested in. These texts are designed to generate calls for them to respond back to you. Hi, this is Darryl from Power Realty. I'm excited. I'm setting up showings for this week. Would you like to get together to see some homes? Now, I just be clear with you on that last text. I don't want you to start showing properties until you have that discovery face-to-face meeting, which we'll talk about in a second. There's a software that we found that we really like. It's called Rocket Biz. And what I like about the Rocket Biz is because you can take those texts that I just showed you as an example and actually put it in. You'll see at the bottom there, they're like canned responses, right? So instead of doing a mass texting out, which is another option, there's other softwares that you can do a mass text. But if you wanted to do individual, so let's say you got 20 or 30 people and you wanted to really just tweak it, you can use this app to set a template and then tweak the template if you want. Okay, so you got your open houses. You want to follow up after the open houses. Now, the next thing that is a high priority that I really want you to do with buyers, this has been coming up, power agents, this has been coming up a lot in the coaching calls. Guess every Monday we have coaching calls with the power agents. It's a group coaching call. They can talk to me and ask me questions. And something that's been coming up a lot is about buyers not being loyal, right? They're putting offers in with other agents, or they're working with another agent, or they want you to cut your commission when they put an offer in. Like, there's just a mess with buyers. And what cures all buyer messes is to have a buyer sign a buyer agency agreement with you. One of our power agents, Tom Baxter from Reese Nickel, Kansas, he went from 25 sales to over 60 sales in just 12 months. And because Tom got really awesomely strong working with buyers. And I want to share something with you on how to get that buyer agency agreement. Power agents, though, before I get into this, I just want to tell the power agents, gang, as you know, there's the webinars on demand. Like, these weekly sessions are recorded, like this is being recorded, and it goes on the webinar demand section. One of those webinars was creating buyer loyalty. Now, that particular webinar, I went super deep on just nothing but buyers, from the moment you contact them to the moment you write a contract. So it'll go everything for 1 hour. Now, I'm going to pull something from that I taught. I'm going to share with everybody right now. And the reason why I want to do that is because I really want to help everybody guess, of course, because this is a problem. You see, there is a distinction between customer and a client. So let me define what a customer is versus a client. So it says right there, a customer pays for a product with an immediate money transaction, right? So that's what a customer does, whereas a client, they buys a personalized and highly professional service. This business relationship clearly has defined responsibilities between both parties. That's the difference between client or a customer. Let me give you an example. So a customer is somebody who goes and buys a car. They go to the grocery store. They buy foods or clothing, gasoline, Netflix. So those are customers, right? So I have a Netflix account, and I'm a customer of Netflix, right? So a client, though, examples would be an attorney, an accountant, insurance agent, graphic designer, financial planner, a real estate professional. See, in every one of those scenarios, there's a commitment, a mutual commitment between the two, and there's a payment and services that are expected, right? The problem that some of us have is we are treating our buyers like they're a client when actually they're a customer. And the reason why is because until they sign the buyer agency agreement, where they guarantee that you're going to get paid, where they understand that they have a responsibility to stay loyal to you and vice versa, there's a fiduciary relationship. Until that happens, they're a customer, just like anybody going to buy a car or food at the grocery store. Are you hearing me on this? This is going to save you a lot of time when you get this concept of what I'm saying right now. Now, let me just really bring it home for you. So with a customer where they're paying for a product and it's an immediate transaction, whereas a client buys that person. So let's look at it. The fiduciary responsibility to a customer is when I am working with a customer. If I sell cars for a living and you come in to buy cars and you're a customer, my fiduciary responsibility is to the company and to the transaction. And you can even say myself. But if you are a client, then my fiduciary responsibility is to you to look out for your best interest. Is there a written agreement with customers? No. There's sometimes like Netflix, there's certain things, Cablevision, phones, okay. But for the most part, there's no contract when I go buy my groceries or when I go into a store to buy something else, right? Until the transaction happens. With a client, it's spelled out. I have an attorney. I have a contract with the attorney. what's expected between both of us, what I pay hourly, what a company offers. A company, when it's a customer, they're offering a product and a service, whereas a client, it's really service. It's really a service business. Sales focus, professional focuses on the selling, whereas a client, it's focusing on servicing. The length of a relationship, it's transactional. Where a client, it's ongoing. And the personal attention is less required with a customer, highly required with a client. Power agents, we took everything that I just showed you, and there's these flyers in the buyer section of the website where you can actually use these with an appointment with your buyers to explain to them, to help encourage them to hire you and to become a client as opposed to a customer. See, and I'm going to show you one other thing. This is my favorite. We talk a lot about what we'll do when they hire us as the buyer's agent, but this flyer shows a buyer what you can't do. See, watch this. If a buyer does not sign a buyer agent agreement, meaning they hire you as their agent, you got to tell them, I cannot advise you on the offer you should make when you find a home that you like, when you are not my client, because I've got to help the seller sell the house for the highest possible price. If you're not my client, I after writing the offer, I'm going to negotiate for the best interest of the seller, not for you. If you're not my client, I can't represent your best interest. My responsibility is to represent the seller's best interest. I mean, after you go through this entire thing, like, why would any buyer not have an agent representing them, right? Why would they still stay as a customer? So let's continue on. Okay, power agents, everything I showed you is in the buyer tab of the classroom. Now, let's continue. I want you to commit to saying this expression almost every day whenever you get a chance, with not just buyers, but with sellers. So this really is not just for buyers. And it's this. Hey, I'm really committed to helping people benefit from the current real estate market. Can I ask you, do you know of anyone who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? I think this is just a great little verbiage that you can almost work into every conversation. You bump into people in the street and they say, oh, you're real estate. You have to say, yes, I love my business. I am so committed to helping people benefit from this real estate market. You know, what's currently happening is just incredible. But do you know of anybody who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? Here's my card. Contact, can I call them? Anyway, so that's a little extra thing for you. All right, let's talk about sellers. High priority activity for sellers. Here's what'll help you stay focused on generating some listings. One of the things you can do is call neighbors for your buyers. One of the things that we know most parts of the country, there's more buyers than there are listings, right? One of the things you should do is use the buyer if they're your client, and you're going to take that and use the buyers want to buy a home as a reason to call everybody and anybody that you can call in a neighborhood. Now, power agents, you know, in the power program, there is over a dozen dialogues for you guys, and it's in the website, which, by the way, I think that's one of our bonuses. It is for the guests if you decide later that you want to. But one of the dialogues is I have a buyer dialogue, which is also in those bonuses. I'm not going to go through the dialogue because right now I just want to teach the concept of calling around in a neighborhood. When you have a buyer, get on the phones and be manic about it and say, I want to find these people a house. The second thing you do is send out mailings for your buyers. So use your buyers that you have to generate listing appointments by doing a mass mailing. Mailing out something like this. Dear Hana Hana. Don't say Hana Hana, actually use the name. Do a mail merge. Dear Hana Hana, I believe we may have a buyer for your home. Like, that would be the heading of the letter. That would really catch their attention. We have been searching really hard for one of our buyers looking to move into your neighborhood. From what we can find on public record, your property might be perfect for them. Are you open to selling in the near future? And you can go on in the letter saying, you know what, if you know of anybody, I would really appreciate it. Here's my contact information, etc. Now, by the way, guests, let me talk to the power agents just for 1 second. Power agents, we just launched last week the Power Agent Print Portal. We are so excited about it. We're planning on maybe raising the tuition for the program in the future, but you guys are locked in at your price, so you're getting this as an added benefit. But we just launched it last week. Please give us your feedback. If you see any glitches, just let us know. So far, we're already having tons of power agents use it. So anyway, you can order actually the mailing list while you're in that shopping cart too, which is cool. Okay. So high priority for sellers, call neighbors for your buyers. You can do the mailing like we just said. Here's the third thing, just walk in the neighborhood. Walk in the neighborhood, door knocking, past clients, visiting, like get out into the streets, belly to belly, face to face with people, right? So as far as door knocking, let me just show you, same thing. We have this dialogue for door knocking, but let me focus on this one thing to point out. If there is anything I can ever do for your family regards to real estate, my number is at the bottom. Oh, by the way, one of my favorite terms that I've always used. Oh, by the way, also been offering folks in the area a neighborhood market report. It's a report that offers two things. First, it shows just how much the neighbors paid for their home. And second, based on that information, it gives you a value range for what your property is worth. We believe this is really important because a home is usually one of the family's most important assets. And just like a stock portfolio, periodically you should get an update of your assets. Is that something you'd be interested in? So this is something that you can actually offer when you're going door knocking to people. You can actually give them a certificate so you can have those with you when you're door knocking, which, by the way, Julie, help me out over here. What was the name of the power agent? Because I saw that too late. Like I'd already created the slides and I want to shout out to them. Who is the power agent that just got these printed and they're going to start sending them out? Can you go into the Facebook group and tell me that agent's name so we can shout them out? Yeah, we just saw it. I'm sorry, again. One of our power agents just took a picture of that very certificate I showed you, and I want to shout out and acknowledge them. So now let me share what a smile stop is, which is part of the door knocking thing with past clients. We call them smile stops because there's an acronym for SMILE, right? So it's service. You're focusing on servicing, not selling. You're meeting face to face because you're going to their door. You invite them to share their needs by asking questions. So when you are belly to belly, face to face with the people, you want to, have them talk. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should communicate in that proportion. Listen twice the amount of speaking that you do. You want to leave behind, that's the L, some kind of token of gratitude. And E is elevate the relationship because you stopped by, you gave them a gift, and you're going to follow up at some point as well. Now, what we've done, Denise Wells. So a shout out to Denise Wells for doing that. Let me go back to that certificate, the neighborhood market report. I just saw that in the Facebook. So Denise, we're proud of you. Okay, so going back here. Now, smile stops, let me give you some examples of them, right? So here's some ideas like for each month. You should not do it monthly because then you're going to be like a party planner. It's too much. But I think every quarter, doing some kind of cute, fun gift. Like, so for obviously Valentine's Day, a box of chocolate for your past clients. I love my clients. Happy Valentine's Day. The other one, the chocolate coins, like those you can give to not just past clients, but anybody door knocking, right? Because that's not an expensive thing. I'm lucky to have you as a client and your referrals, or you can say, I'm lucky to be in real estate, so you can make it more generic. The Peeps, those little Peeps candies, have your Peeps call me about your real estate needs. So those are just some examples. Now, power agents, just an FYI, if you were to search the Power Program website for SMILE stops, you're going to see not just that one that I just showed you, but Julie created SMILE stops for every month, like just a whole bunch of ideas. So she got really carried away with that, didn't you, Julie?
Always.
Always. Julie, you give Julie an idea, forget about it. She runs with it and she creates all. We have new power agents. We have, I got to tell you, we have over 600 forms, flyers, checklists on the Power Program site for you because we just get carried away. We keep creating stuff. Okay, so walk your neighborhood for your past clients. Here's the next thing is for this, and keep in mind, you see what the heading says? It says high priority for sellers, right? So one of the things I'm going to suggest you do, high priority activities, because we want to commit to generating those conversations, right? One conversation with buyers and one for sellers every single day. I like to use the acronym of a wheel, or an analogy of a wheel, a bicycle wheel. Like you can't ride on a bicycle wheel without the spokes. The spokes give integrity. And I like to look at the spokes in prospecting. So the 8 priority things that are going to generate conversations today, like if you got off this webinar today and you called some FSBOs, bing, If you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get an appointment today. If you're good, if you use the right dialogue. Buyers, you will get some appointments. One of our power agents, Jonathan Myers, he said, expireds, FSBOs, cancels, rentals 9 months from the lease start date. And social media, I've done that, and I'm in my first year, and I'm already on track doing 30 deals this year. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? Doing 30 deals in a year, because that quote from Jonathan is really clear that Jonathan is focusing on what kind of activities? Come on now, A activities. A activities that are those high priority activities that are going to generate conversations with sellers. That's what you need to commit to. So FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, old FSBOs, old expireds. To me, those are the high priority activities when it comes to generating listing appointments. Now, as far as you can call these people, but you can also text, because we were getting power agents saying, Darryl, I'm calling some people. It's going right to voicemail. We have voicemail dialogue as well. But let me just show you the text that you can do. Hi, I just left your voicemail about your house for sale. Please call me at your earliest convenience. Bing, very simple, very enticing. Here's another one. I'm sorry to text, but a new listing came up for sale in your neighborhood. We expect this to generate a lot of buyer interest in your neighborhood. Please call if you know of anyone who's thinking of selling. Bam, another great text to generate interest. I like this one. I'm sorry to text you, but I have a few buyers looking in your area. Is your home still available? Obviously, you would use that for an expired. I have a few thoughts on how to get you home so fast. Do you have time for us to meet and discuss? So again, that would be for an expired. Okay. Now, gang, by the way, we're a little past the halfway mark. Are you learning anything? Could you tell me, because we record these chats, and it really helps us to see what's working and what power agents like, and the guests too. What have you learned so far that you just love, you're going to run with? So tell me what you think. Are you learning anything? Tell me that. If you are learning anything, what did you like? So just put that in the Q&A if you wouldn't mind, so we can see some of the feedback that you guys are getting out of this. Okay, power agents, if you go to the prospecting section of the website, you're going to find a bunch of those dialogues. And one of the things that also is in the webinars on demand is the 10 prospecting script. That goes through 10 of the best dialogues, calling FSBOs, calling expireds, all that A stuff, houses for rent, and it goes through line by line. That webinar goes really deep on how you can generate at least 2 listing appointments for every 4 conversations that you have. So I see this stuff. So yeah, it just publishes. Talk to buyers each day for 30 days. David, I agree with you. Christina, love the Rocket Biz app. Just downloaded it. Good, Christina. Rosie or Rossi, the high priority activities, very good. You like that? Any of the scripts available in Spanish? Dennis, yes, they are. As a matter of fact, Dennis, I'll show you later that the website, the Power Program website, has the dialogue and flyers. Like there's a Spanish version of almost everything on the site. So I'll show you that later. I'm getting inspired by the possibilities, Mark. Thank you. Mark, that just made my heart smile. Oh, Debbie, love the client versus customer conversation. Is that not, I love that. That is powerful, that distinction. And I'm glad you do too. I love teaching that. Okay, so there's a lot more coming in. Let me continue to teach. Now, let's talk about distractions. How do we avoid distractions? What's a distraction? I'm going to give you 2 simple definitions of a distraction. It's a thing that prevents you from giving your full attention to something else. That's it. It's a thing. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's a thing. The other definition is it creates extreme agitation of the mind and emotions. That's a distraction, right? So how do you avoid these distractions? Let me give you a couple of tips. Number 1 is unfollow people on social media if you need to. Let me tell you something. There was a time like my wife April, she was telling me she was getting upset on Facebook because there were people that were saying negative things at one point about something. Doesn't matter what it was, but there was a lot of. I said, you know what, honey? It was it was during the politics, during the election and stuff. I said, you know what, honey? I don't have any of that. I don't have any negative stuff on my Facebook. I got 5,000 friends on my. I don't get. You want to know why? Because I friended anybody that I saw. I didn't give anything negative. So my Facebook, I never see negative because as soon as I do, bada bing, I unfriend those people. That's so very simple. Let me show you. I love this quote. When a photographer can't change a scene, they change the angles and the lens. To capture the best part of the scene. Similarly, when you can't change a situation in your life, change your perception and get the best part of the situation. Be a filter, not a sponge. Filter out the negativity that's out there in the world, right? Change your lens. You can't change reality, but you can change what you're focusing on, what you're seeing through your lens. So that's one of the, get and follow those negative Neds or Nellies, whatever it is. Second thing is get stronger with tech. Now, stronger. Now, some of you, you're really tech savvy. Some of you, you still have a VCR in your house and it's flashing 12. You don't know how to stop the damn thing. So wherever you are in tech, I'm not telling you to become a master at it, but wherever you are, just get a little bit better at it. Power agents, talk to you for a second. Power agents, when you go to the classroom, there's a whole section on technology and tools. We're not a tech company, so you're not going to find really advanced tech training. That section is for the novice, like how to use Zoom 101, how to use PowerPoint, basic stuff to help people get educated enough where they can then go out and learn the mastery stuff somewhere else. So here's some tech considerations for you to get better at. How's your website looking? Do you have any broken pages? Go sit down and look at your site and click on everything and make sure from a buyer or seller's perspective, how does that experience look? Canva is a really cool, easy tool that you can create stuff with. So check out Canva. Power Agents, we have a training in that tab that I told you on how to use Canva. There's also Zoom. Zoom is an important tool now, and it's going to get more important in our business. So make sure you're a little acclimated to Zoom. Social media profiles. Check all your profiles. Check all your profiles, how you look, what's going on, what you said. Some of you created, you know what I'm talking, you created that LinkedIn page years ago. You didn't know what the hell it was, and it's a little messy over there. So go clean it up. Then you got PowerPoint. So make sure you're good with that. The PowerPoint and the Zoom are really useful when you need to meet with somebody virtually. CRM, to me, that's the most important tool that everybody on this call should be having. You should master a CRM. You should have it. And also, I'm a big fan of RedX. So when it comes to FSBOs that expired and houses for rent and pre-foreclosures, that's the company. And Power Agents, you get a deal that nobody else has in the industry of real estate, because I negotiated with Curtis, the president, So Power Agents, you got a good deal there. All right, now, let me talk about CRM for a second. Now, Power Agents, you have Power Builder if you need a CRM. The guests on the call, if you have a CRM, your company might have a CRM, or you're using another company's CRM. So let me tell you things to look for, to be using. So for example, see if your CRM has the ability to actually post social media posts for you, like articles and stuff. Like our CRM for Power Agents does that. It pulls from, I'll give you CNBC, CNN, House Logic, House and Home, Huffington Post. So you can actually pull articles from these publications and then just automatically set and forget, which is awesome. So you're a source of valuable information that's automated. You don't do anything. RedX is another thing when it comes to, we talked about RedX. So let me just show you the RedX Power Agents. This is what it looks like, the RedX system, when you are going to prospect FSBOs and expireds and houses for rent. You log into your account, you click on somebody, you get all the information right there. Then you can auto dial and keep notes. It's an incredible thing. So I'm really pushing those two things. Make sure your CRM is strong, get to know it, use it, and also have some kind of tool to help you stay focused on those high priority conversations, right? Now, so get stronger with tech, up your game. Third thing is hang your signs. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about open house signs. I'm not talking about for sale signs. I'm talking about the signs to hang up in your office when you're ready to hit the phones and to generate those conversations with a buyer and a conversation with us. Tell the world, leave me alone. Don't disturb me. I'm growing my future. I'm planting seeds. Do you know every conversation you have that's with a buyer or with a seller, that's like planting a seed? And if you nurture that seed, that relationship, just like you water it, you cultivate it, you sun, you fertilize it, eventually it produces a crop. To hang up that sign and say, don't disturb me. I'm planting my seeds of success. Do not disturb me. I love what I do and I'm working on my breakthrough. So make sure that you tell the universe to leave you alone so you don't get those. You know why these hang the signs are good? it's not just telling people in your life, leave me alone, I'm working over here. When you put up that sign, I don't have a sign here. When you hang up that sign and you say, it's prospecting time, leave me alone, I'm hanging this up. You're actually making a commitment for you to actually do it. It's you hanging the sign that says, I'm making a commitment now to shake the trees and generate some now business. Last but not least, I want to share this with you. Very powerful distinction. So here's the last thing I'm going to tell you is I ran the New York City Marathon. This is a picture of me. And if you look at me, I'm not a runner. I'm not into working out. Some of my colleagues, they work out, they eat healthy. They make me sick. My idea of a good workout is I fill up my bathtub, I pull the plug, and I fight the current. That's me. I'm telling you this because some of you, just like you don't like to prospect, I don't like to work out. I got a bike, I got a stationary bike in my office. I use it to hang my coat on it, I swear to God. Anyway, I'm telling you this because for me to run a marathon is a miracle. I did it to raise money for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And I'm going to show you something. There's a whole point here. I'm making a point, so stay with me, please. This marathon, when I ran New York City marathon, there's 37,000 people. This thing is crazy, right? The bridge was the starting line. Bridges, it actually shakes from the number of people, which is just incredible. Which is a little unnerving when I drive over that bridge now. It's like people can make a bridge shake. But here, I want to show you, here I am on the streets of New York. I don't know if you can tell, but that's me right there. And so for me, this was a huge breakthrough to run the New York City Marathon and raise money for leukemia. I was the #1 fundraiser of the year that I did this. Anyway, this marathon taught me something, to create a breakthrough, to create this miracle, to run a marathon. I want to share with you the 6 things that I learned that helped me have a breakthrough in my personal life when I ran that marathon. Number 1 is make your commitment something bigger than your fears. See, every morning I woke up, I had that little voice inside my head that said, I don't want to, I don't feel like it, this is uncomfortable. You know, the same one you have. You know, when it's time for you to do something for your business, I don't want to, I don't feel like it, this is uncomfortable. But the thing that had me push past the I don't want to was my commitment to saving children's lives, because leukemia is the #1 blood disease killer of children up to the age of 16. I have a soft spot in my heart for children and anything that I can do to contribute to children in any way. So it motivated, I was committed to helping children, period. Okay. When you're committed to something bigger than your I don't want to, that's how you create miracles. The second thing that I learned is when you work your life, you got to work your life around your commitment, not your commitment around your life. When you decide to commit to a marathon, you don't fit your running into your life, because you'll never do it. Do you follow me? You'll never get to it. So that has to come first. The commitment, this is perhaps one of the most important things I'm telling you about how to stay focused and more productive in your life, is you got to get more committed. What are you committed to? See, if you're really committed to something about your business, you'll push through the I don't want you, the circumstances, you'll make it happen. It's based on your level, your commitment level. Here's the third thing, is make your commitment public. Tell us everybody. I used to tell everyone when I was running to run the marathon. I told everybody, I'm running the marathon. I was collecting money. Give me money. Give me money. Every time somebody gave me money to give to leukemia, it made me more committed, because I had these people that now I was responsible to. See, that's one of the power of those things, like the dot board. When you hang a dot board, you hang charts of people that can see it. That's a form of accountability. So make your commitment public. Here's the other thing that I learned, is make mini goals. See, it's hard sometimes. When I was running the marathon, I started at the finish line. I started with the first day I was going to run. Well, here's what I did. I took out my car and I drove from my house 26.2 miles, the length of a marathon. 26.2. I drove 26.2 miles. I looked at that. I said, how am I going to do that? It's like, no, there's no way. So standing here looking 26 miles, no way. Just like you, if you look at where you are in your business and you want to get here, if you focus on that, it could be disempowering, not empowering. because you're like, it's so far. How am I going to do it? So I tricked myself. What I did was this. I looked, I says, all right, I ain't looking at that. Let me just run to the crack. There's a crack right. Let me just get to the crack in the cement. And when I got to the crack, I said, let me just get to the fire hydrant. I can make the fire hydrant I could do. Then after that, it's the tree. Let me get to the tree. So I did a little bit, and that's how you do it. So inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard. So set mini goals. For example, setting mini goals like for the quarter, you should have a set for the quarter. You should have for the week. Then you should have for the day. So like one of the things we give our power agents is the quarterly calendar when it comes to marketing. Guess you can do something like this. You say, what are you going to do in your business in the first quarter? What are you going to do in the second quarter? And et cetera, and go on. If you're going to do a weekly calendar, like we give it to our power agents, it's to figure out by the end of the week, what are the top 3 things I must accomplish? No matter what am I going to do? These are, of everything that I got going on, I got to make sure that I move the ball down the court with these 3 things. And of course, then have a daily schedule for yourself. Block out that time when you're going to have those conversations, where you're going to if you just gave yourself 1 hour a day, every day for 30 days, and in that 1 hour, you just focused on talking to a buyer or to a seller. Oh my goodness gracious, what would happen to your business? So, mini goals, right? Here's the next thing, is get support and training and encouragement, being part of. Listen, one of the things I'll tell you, our power agents, I can talk to the guests for a second now. One of the things our power agents tell us, and I love to see your comments, power agents, if this is true for you, what I'm about to say, is that this is not like a membership where you don't talk to anybody. It feels more like a family, right? It's like power agents helping each other, the coaching calls, the webinar, the Facebook, we're all helping one another. The love that I see on the Facebook group, by the way, just as an aside, beautiful. So make sure you're part of something. If you're not a power agent and you don't want to become power agent, then go be part of something else, because real estate can feel very lonely. So you want to be involved with other people. When I decided to run the marathon, part of leukemia, what they did is they tell you, they're the support structure. Leukemia, it's called team and training, by the way, team and training. What they did is they gave us a chart, and you get network, and you were part of a group, and you text one another, so you weren't ever running alone, you see. Don't run alone. And then when we actually ran the marathon, the people that were cheering for us on the side of the road, it was absolutely incredible. And it was that energy, that encouragement, that is what we need in our life, yes? Like, and even these ladies, I always love this. They say, I hear this free beer at the finish line. You've got stamina, call me. Anyway, so having that positive encouragement in your life. I'll tell you something. One of the 3 books that I wrote was called How to Design a Life Worth Smiling About. It's published from McGraw-Hill. I'm not saying that for you to buy the book. It's not a real estate book. It's a motivation book. There's a whole reason why I wrote it. But I'm just going to tell you something. There's a lot of science about smiling, and it got me, it was really a labor of love, this whole thing. One of the studies I found was from the scientist, James Fowler. And what he did was called the happiness study. And what he found was that people are in clusters. And I don't want to go deep on this, but just to clarify it, he's with Harvard, by the way. This study showed that negative people like to hang out with negative people, and positive people like to hang with positive people. Bing, stick a pin in it, and that's it. And there's actually, your positivity actually affects either other people you don't know. Because when you're positive, that person, your friend is positive, and then they impact somebody else. And that's why it creates these clusters. You can actually make a difference in a lot of people's lives when you are positive. People you'll never know, never see. That's what the power of hanging out with other positive people. Power agents, I told you at the beginning, make sure you're paying attention to the training that we're giving you every week, because there's a lot of positive stuff in there. Don't forget power agents. There's a weekly coaching calls that we do for you to help you stay positive and focused. So anyway, so get that support and that encouragement. And like I said earlier, don't run alone. I'm going to answer questions. We're going to finish in just a minute. So, and I've got a gift for the guests, but there's one last story I'm going to share with you about not running alone. This is a picture of me running one of the marathons at Disney. This marathon was the second time that I did it. The first time I did it, I was afraid of the sweeper buses. What the sweeper bus is, because you got to open up the park at Disney. If you're too far behind, What the bus does is it picks your butt up and drives you to the finish line because they're like, we got to open up the park. You can't stay here all day. So the first time I ran, I was actually not running to the finish line. I was running away from the sweeper bus because it was on my tail. The second year that I ran it, I actually did so much better, even though I was less trained. I had some issues and challenges, but I actually did better. And here's why. That year was the year that I had my iPhone with me, and they had this app that came out that actually, you'll see it, I'm holding it right there in my hand. It actually would post on Facebook where I was in the course. And so my phone kept blinging because people were like, Darryl, you're an encouragement. Go help those kids. And some people would joke, Darryl, pick up some eggs and bread for me while you're out. Anyway, there was this one text that I got. I was 2 miles away from the finish line. I was going to walk it because I knew I was good. But I actually ran the last 2 miles because I got this text that said, bling. And I started to cry when I read it. He said, Darryl, don't forget, you're not running alone. You're running for all those children with leukemia, and they're running right along the side, right next to you. Anyway, I started crying. I didn't know who this person. I learned later. It turns out that was April, who actually sent that text. We started day for, and a true Disney story. She became my wife. So there's magic that happens in Disney. When you're around positive people, it encourages you. You'll run faster and further than if you run alone. Okay, now, here's what I'm going to say. I got some things to teach more, and I want to help people with questions. But the guests, I got a gift for you. So here's the gift for Power Agents. Julie, for $5 you can become a Power Agent. You have complete access to everything. You can cancel anytime. But let me tell you the bonuses. I'm going to show you the bonuses in a second. The coaching program, the Power program, every Monday you can talk to me. It's not like this webinar. You actually come off hold. You can ask me questions. We can role play. I record it. There's dozens of webinars on demand that you can get access to. The closed Facebook group. There's incredible amount of encouragement and brainstorming. The Power Agent website, which I'll show as we go through some of the questions. But just to give you some screenshots, when you go to Classroom, which is where all the magic is, then it goes to this page, which then there's all these different categories of real estate, like buyers and listing appointment and farming. So let's say you needed help with farming. You click there. There is all of these forms and flyers that are all customizable. So you can actually delete a space. That's how customizable it is. And it's easy and it's beautiful, these pieces. And there's a favorite tab where you can tag it and put it in your own folder. We use a similar technology as Google. If you type in the word FSBO, then everything that's FSBO related shows up, whether it's a dialogue or whatever. Now, let me show you this. Yes, this is what we're going to give you as a bonus for the $5. You're going to get a slide deck, a PowerPoint slide deck of 103 slides on how to do a listing appointment, along with a video training on how to do that with FSBOs. That was my strength, how to list FSBOs. And New York FSBOs, they're the hardest in the country. So you can list a FSBO here, you can list them anywhere. Then there is the 3-part breakthrough business plan, which is really important because it goes through how to generate now business, future business, financial freedom. It's 43 pages. You get to keep all of this. Some people say, you know what, it's worth of $5 just to get all this and then cancel. I hope you don't, but you could. If you're a new agent or experienced agent and you need to restart your business, we got that covered for you. There is the 12 best dialogues on how to call FSBOs expireds, past client. I'm really good with the FSBO. So anyway, and the expireds. There's 184 things that you do to earn a commission. I'll tell you, this was designed for you to give to a homeowner, but it's actually good to read it before you go into a listing appointment. Get you excited. By the time you read that, you're like, I'm going to charge 2% more than what I was going to ask. Then you've got what to do a multiple offer situation. You give that to your buyers and to your sellers, and it looks like you wrote it. There's the predictions for 2022 as an objection handling. Plus, you get the copy of the slide, the recording from today. And, if anything, I motivated you today, you'll get a copy of that. You can watch it over and over again, create a little clip for yourself. And there's the CRM as well. Everything on this site is about $2,000, but you get it just for the $5. And there's one more bonus that we added. I couldn't even find space on the slide here. And that is the digital magazine with 43 pages. And we're going to send you that as well. So there you go. Now we're going to open up to questions, but power agents also, if you have any comments that you want to add, please put it in the chat. Tell the guests what you think, if this is a good idea for them. But right now I'm going to answer your questions. So if you'll write your question, power agent or guest, about anything, about the program or about how to stay focused in your business, just write it there and Julie's going to read it to me for you. So Julie, go ahead. What do we got?
Goodness, take a deep breath.
Okay, I'm good.
We have several people asking, what was the texting software that you recommended?
Okay, so the texting software was, let's go back to that slide. And I want to show about the Spanish thing too. That texting software is called Rocket Biz. Rocket Biz, B-I-Z.
Excellent. Can you explain how houses for rent work? Who are you calling and how are you finding that info, as it's not public record like a homeowner information?
Yeah, the houses for rent and their contact information is from RedX. So RedX is the company that has FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, and pre-foreclosures. They find that information and they put it in an organized fashion so that way you don't have to go try and find it. As far as that Spanish thing, I just want to go to prospecting and I want to show that as well. And when you go down to dialogue, everything is alphabetical in the Power program. So where it says D for dialogue, remember I said I have a buyer? There's the English version and Espanol. So, and it's not just that. There's some other pieces, not just dialogue, but if it's a flyer, a checklist, like here's selling your home in the winter. There's the 8 risks e-guide, all in Spanish. So we have that. There's the 2022 predictions, also in Spanish. So in all these letters. So go on, Julie. Next question.
Is all the literature emailed? How do we get it?
Yeah. So when you sign up as a power agent, so when you click on that little trial thing, so if you click there, it'll bring you to the landing page. You fill out your form, your email address, everything that is a bonus will get emailed to you. So you'll get it right away. Okay. So you don't have to wait for it. Next question, Julie.
Excellent. Dennis, I'm not going to publish your address, buddy. But the magazines have all been sent out. So you should, if you haven't gotten it yet, it should be in your mailboxes soon. If you've been a power agent for a while, so we've got a couple of those questions.
Yeah, as far as the magazine is concerned, power agents, I'm going to tell you, if you go to the directory, so here's what you should do. So no more questions about the magazine because I'm going to answer it one simple way. When you go to the directory, power agents, whatever address you have here, I want you to check your address because that's what we use. Now, I've been telling you guys forever to update your directory, right? So if you didn't update the directory, we use that's the address, right? So what you would do is click on your profile, go up here, update my directory profile. And I'm logged in under our Vice President Sarah's profile. And check your address here. And if the address was wrong here, what you should do is update it for the future next time we mail out something. Also, if your address is correct and you still haven't gotten it, you'll probably get it hopefully by the end of this week. If not, the post office lost it. So next question, Julie.
Darryl, do you record the coaching calls?
Yes, the coaching calls get recorded. If you go to coaching calls in the classroom, so if you can't be on the call, if you go there, all of the weekly calls are there. And so you can listen to it later. These calls, they used to be an hour. This one, 2 hours and 42 minutes, 2 hours and 18 minutes, and 2 hours and 51. So they're kind of pushing 3 hours now. So you can jump in at any time during the call. Next question.
Power Agents magazine is great. Thanks, Mike. Nicole, is there a software or website that can be used to obtain owner phone numbers and emails in a farm area? So back to RedX.
Yeah, the best thing to do, I mean, there's a couple things. RedX is the best place to get all that information. Farming email, farming emails, addresses for farming, sorry. But there is another one. So if I go to, it's called Cold Directory. So if I go to Classroom and I'll show everybody. So the cold directory is like the grandfather of mailing lists. And but the thing about them is they're kind of expensive, but the information they give you is so solid. So what we did is we created a relationship with Cole. It's in Tech Tools and Training. And with Cole, power agents get a $200 credit. You'll see coupon for Cole. So when you go there, you can save $200 on your order. So that's another way to do it. Okay. Next question, Julie.
Excellent. What time are the coaching calls?
They're 11 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm going to show you one other thing. And they go for about 2 hours. Like I said, 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, and in that coaching call tab, I actually just had it come in on the chat, which if you can show the chat for me in a second, that would be great. You can ask your calls in advance. We've got some West Coast people on the call, and you can ask your call. You can ask your question in advance, and we'll take those at the top of the hour.
Yeah. So if you go to the coaching calls and it says, I have a question for the call, submit it here, you click the red. There's this form, you put in your information, you write your question, it gets emailed to my team. They create a list for me of here's all the questions for the next call. I start with those questions. So that's a way to kind of jump. It's almost like a Disney, the Fast Pass. That's your way to jump in front. That's a way for you to jump in front of the line of questions. So I would recommend you do that.
A Fast Pass. We've never said it that way before.
I never said it that way. It just came out of my head because I was thinking about the marathon at Disney. That's why it's still up front for me.
You mentioned that the Power Agents have a special deal with RedX. Can you share where on our dashboard classroom we can see that?
So, all right. So let me show you the website, everybody. So really quick, I'll give you the nickel tour. When you log into the Power program, there's what's called a dashboard. And the dashboard says, here's the classroom, here's the coaching call. So we took some of the most important stuff. Here's the CRM, the Power Builder. Here's the directory for the Power Agents, which, by the way, I do want to say something about this directory. We're seeing thousands of dollars of commissions go back and forth between agents. The directory has become an incredible referral network, which we did not anticipate that would happen. There's probably like 4 or 5 deals a month happening from just the directory. So make sure when you're a new Power Agent that you fill out your directory. I'll show you something in a minute in regards to that. When you click on the Facebook closed group, that'll bring you right to the closed group for Power Agents. Then there's your profile building. There's some tutorials and then webinar registration. Now, I do want to show you webinar registration for Power Agents because there is where the coaching call is every Monday. There's a Tuesday call on just how to use the website for anybody who has questions. This is today's webinar. This is next Wednesday's webinar, which we're going to just talk about tech tools for 2022, the brainstorming session that I told you guys about, and then how to become a listing machine. Okay, going back to the dashboard, I want to show you the classroom. When you click on classroom, there's 2 categories of things. There's skill building like buyers and farming and listing appointment and objection handling. But then there's other things as well. There is the directory, the Facebook group. There's a place for your favorites. There's the digital magazine. So Power Agents, if you have not gotten your magazine, if you go to this link, then you can actually download the link. You can print out the magazine. And there's a contest that we're running too for Power Agents that ends this Sunday. So you want to make sure that you get in on that. So for those of you that haven't gotten your magazine, you don't have to wait. It's there. Now, unfortunately, you'd have to print it out or just keep it digital. There's some other cool functions about the digital aspect because when you're in the digital, if let's say here's the coaching calls, you can just actually click on that and it'll bring you to the coaching calls tab of the Power program. So the cool thing about this digital version of the magazine is that it gives you the ability in certain places to actually click on things like the business plan. If you click there as well, it'll bring you to the 3-part business plan as well. So, all right, let's see. What else do I want to tell you about the site? There was something else I wanted to say, and I forgot what it was. Okay, let's go back to the questions.
Oh, Mike just signed up as Red X as a power agent. Said they were very helpful. They are. They're phenomenal.
They are. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible.
Darryl, where do we find out information about the CRM? Oh, it's right there in front of me. Huh?
It's right there. Yep, it's right there.
Again, in your
Me
dashboard.
personally, I just go to Classroom for everything because everything is here, right? So, there's social media posts for you. The charts are there. So when I talked about the charts today, a lot of the charts like the dot board, the quarterly marketing calendar, the daily one, there's a monthly calendar. So those signs I told you to hang up to stay focused. So anything that's time management related is in that time management tab. There's a summary of my Smile book, by the way. Okay.
That dot board is in that time and money management as well. And that's a game changer.
Yes. Now, the suggestion box, I will tell you, I don't talk too much about it, but I will tell you the suggestion box, we do read these, and that's probably why we have so many things in the Power Program, because every time somebody says, hey, do you have a flyer on this? And I'm like, no, we don't, but I like that idea, and then we create it. So, yeah.
Darryl, this seems like a lot of content. How do I get started as a power agent?
That was the question I was hemming and hawing for. So that I forgot. So let me go back here. There's this thing called onboarding. So if you're a new power agent or even an old one, you should go through this because this is tied to your account. So whatever you do, it's going to log your progress. It's like a training program of modules to get you acclimated. So the first one, module 1, if you click on there, it says, okay, here's some things to do, download the calendar from the time management tab, head over to the power agent directory, right? So, and there's even a video on how to update your profile. But if I click on the directory, it'll actually bring me to the directory where I can now update my profile. So this onboarding process will actually, everything that's a different color, like go join the Facebook group. When I click on that, it'll actually bring me to the Power Agent Closed Facebook group. Oh, there's Sophia with the magazine. I love it. Okay, so now let's see. And then as you check things off, it shows your progress, and it actually keeps the points. Like I was at 200 points because I just checked that one thing off. It'll update to 220 or 210. Once there's a little bit of a lag. Okay, next question, Julie.
And this is just a really great way to build solid habits, right? The onboarding. So we've got agents that are brand new to the program. They're brand new to the business. They've been in the business a long time. That onboarding is really just a great way to set, especially this beginning of the year, set your intentions.
Exactly.
Every week. Is the digital version identical to the magazine that was mailed out? Yes, with the exception of the cool little features, right?
Yeah, the digital magazine is the exact same thing. We uploaded the magazine. I will tell you what we did, gang. It wasn't that easy. What we did was we uploaded the digital magazine, and then we started adding hyperlinks to it. Like, okay, so now that just brought me to that article, Making the Real Estate Buyer Agency Great. So we did all of these hyperlink things. So that was an additional set of work that we had to do. But I thought it was really cool. Like all of these little links, when it has that little bullseye, it's telling you it's a hyperlink. Power Agents, we just did that to make it a better experience for you. So, in my opinion, I like to hold paper, but the digital magazine is actually better as far as what it has for you. There was a question that I saw about the Spanish, and I just want to address that.
Yeah.
If I go to prospecting, anything that's Spanish is there. So if I go to, I have a buyer dialogue and I go to Spanish version. Bada bing, there's the Spanish version of the I have a buyer dialogue. So,
and that's not just in prospecting, in all of the tabs. Like if you go to the farming tab, the tools that are in the farming tab are translated into Spanish. Objection handling translated into Spanish. So in every tab, there's Spanish conversions.
Yeah, see this e-guide here of 184 things that you do as an agent. There's the English version, and then there's the Spanish version. And so if I open up and now that I clicked on 2 of them, it's probably going to take a while. So I'll let those 2 happen, and I'll continue. What other questions do you have, Julie?
Do we get a discount on Red X if we are power agents, current power agents?
Only power agents get a discount with Red X. They have other programs and other things, but the power agent discount is better than any other discount, even better than their own, because that's the contract that I had them sign. So power agents, they don't pay the setup fee and they don't pay the first 30 days. So it saves you over $500. So you can start using it for $0. And then at the end of 30 days, you pay monthly depending on what you get. Like if you just get FSBOs, I think it's $60 a month. If you get expireds, it's another $30 a month, something like that. So you crafted that, okay? All right, boy, this is going to take a long time to load. Okay, what other questions?
Can we cancel anytime, or is there a contract?
Yes, you can cancel anytime. It's month to month. Now, if you're a guest right now, what I recommend that you do is click on that floating bar. Maybe we'll just pop it up one more time. And that what'll happen is if you click on that, it'll bring you to the page where you can become a power agent, and it's just for $5, and then that's it. So if you're a power agent, I hope you told us what you love about the program, because we love to see that as well. Is there anything else, Julie, as far as questions?
Yep. If I want to come back, if I was a former power agent, how do I do that?
Yeah. So what you would do is because you're coming back, we already have you in the system. So as a past power agent, so you're handled differently. What you would need to do is use the chat here, and you would just send us a message and then type in and say, I want to reactivate my power agent account. And then somebody will get back to you right away. Now, I will tell you how our chat system works compared to other chat systems is that it's not robotic, meaning that when you type a message here, what happens is every person in the company, their computers go off like a doorbell, ding dong, and they know somebody's at the door, so to speak. And depending on your question, what you ask, it depends on who on the team's going to take care of you. So, for example, if you're a past power agent and you want to reactivate, Gail is probably the one that would be responding to you. If you can't find something on the website and you wanted help with that, that could be anybody on the team, most likely Sarah or Julie, and then whoever picks it up takes it from there. So Tim says he wants to reactivate his past subscription. Tim, thanks for that. Tim, do me a favor. Just write your chat on the website and say that you want to reactivate. Just do it that way, because then it'll go to the right person. Okay. My team is standing by the way. So you'll probably, it says right there, you'll get an answer in under 5 minutes. Yes, Julie.
We also had a broker earlier. I'm sorry, I'd already published it. That wanted to know, a brand new broker wanted to know how to get his agents involved, and that you can do that the same way. Just use that chat on the site.
Yeah. So if you're a broker and you want to do something for your office, say, hey, I'm a broker, and I just say what you want on the chat, and Gail probably will get in touch with you. I want to show the 184. Oh, you know what I didn't show is so this is the 184 things that you do to earn your commission. And you'll see where I'm moving this around because I can customize it. And let me just show you how much you can customize. You see this paragraph? Let's say that you don't like what we wrote. Watch what I can do. Bing, it's all gone. Write your own. Everything there's 184. If you don't like the 184 and you don't like number 1, delete it. So you can customize every piece in your contact, and this is some powerful stuff. Now, the Spanish one, I don't know if that one downloaded yet. I'm not sure if this is the Spanish one, but yes, it is. There's the Spanish version of the same document, and it can do the same thing and customize it. So I will tell you, there's a lot of there's some, not a lot. There's some companies out there that offer like promotional marketing things, but none of them has the depth of customization that we provide. And none of them has 600 assets like we have for you guys. That's how much stuff is here. I'm just scrolling in one tab. And some of these things they're almost like books, like this e-guide that we have. If I type in guide, let me just show you this. If I type in the word guide, this is how many guides that we have for you guys. And there's the seller's guide. Now, the seller's guide postcard, like to promote that guide. And here's the buyer's guide that you give to a buyer. The seller's guide that the full guide is over 40 pages. That's there. The easy move guide. This thing is beautiful. Parking lot. Anyway, there's so much content here. Power agents. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? What do you guys think about the material as far as the content? So now I will tell you, if there is a drawback to the program, I'm being honest with you, is that there is so much. And so sometimes it'd be like, well, what should I do? I want you to use, it's like a diet, right? There's so many different diets out there. Which is the best diet? It's the one that you're going to use. You do not have to use everything. You can't. There's too much. So you can, I don't want to say too much. There's a lot. So what you would do is just click favorite. So if you like something, like let's say I like this happy birthday gift certificate. I click on that star. So let me show you where it is now. Every person has their own account. So when I go to favorites, it's just for mine. Well, in this case, Sarah's, because I'm logged in as Sarah. And here's all of the things that I start. And there's the gift certificate, happy birthday. And in this case, it's sorted based on when you saved it in your account. So of the 600 pieces, here is the ones that I clicked as my favorite. So that's a really handy tool I recommend you guys do. Okay.
And you can use any of those tools in multiple ways, right? So a lot of power agents will take those guides and they'll use a piece of it for social media. They'll copy and paste it into their blogs. There's Sellopoly. I love Sellopoly and the loan opportunity.
I know you do. That's why I'm showing it. Either Sellopoly, you put your contact information in here, and then here, let's say you don't like the wording, you delete it, you change it to something else if you don't like that box. But this is something that we've seen power agents actually post on social media, but it could be a flyer as well. It could be a mailing piece. But Julie's right. If we were to take, so I'll give you for instance, let's say 7 ways to appeal to the next generation of buyers. So I'm going to open that and then show you what you can do. Again, this could be a flyer. This could be something that you would use on a listing appointment. But let's say you wanted to actually post some tips on your social media. I can just go in there and say, here's the top three ways to appeal to the next generation buyer. I just highlight it and then copy it, right click it. And then if I make believe I'm in Facebook right now. Well, here, where I am in Facebook. Wait. When I clicked on that. So here's the power agent page. And what I just did, look what I just did. There's the 3. Now I give it a heading, of course, saying here's the 3 ways to appeal to the next generation of buyers. And I just created some content. I have my typo, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to start editing it now. But anyway, so you get the point. So these pieces, everything in the power program has so much other uses that you can recycle and like that. Next question, Julie.
I love it. Do you have a postcard service or somebody that does the mailings for you that you recommend?
Yeah, let's see. Thanks for that. Somebody who just wrote that. Well, yes, we just added the Power Agent Print Portal. So everything that we have, you can customize it. And then when you click on the Power Agent Print Portal, it's going to bring you to the main page, which then you can start to, if you want to if it's a postcard, you'll pick this. If it's a flyer or a letter, you'll pick this. And then I'm not going to start teaching that, but that's the Power Agent Print Portal. I will tell you this, and there's some videos on how to get acclimated to this. Okay. And, but there is a place in the shopping cart where you can either A, upload your own mailing list, or B, you can actually purchase a mailing list of your farm. So you can type in an address or location, say, give me all the homes and you can delve deep. It's just give me houses, not apartments or commercial, and people who make over $100,000 a year, people that have kids, people that have an in-ground pool. I mean, you can get crazy with the data, or you can just say, give me all the houses in that area. So anyway, that's the Power Print Portal.
Exactly. Darryl, where do I find the webinars, the past webinar library?
When you go to Webinars on Demand, everything's alphabetical in the site. So when you go to Webinars on Demand, here's where all the recordings are. And this is, hang on a second. This is, that's my alarm telling me it's been an hour and a half. These are sorted based on the date. So this was the most recent one that we did. This was last week's webinar, and the one before that, and etc. So, and when you print on it, Power Agents, it'll bring you to the recording, and I want you to see this. So there's the How to Guarantee 2022 is Your Breakthrough Year, and then there's a copy of to download the slides, and that's it.
Good.
You see what I said, Julie? You get a copy of the download slides. Okay.
And that's
Any
all,
other questions?
because that was one of my next question was, how do I get the slides?
Yeah. What
you must
you'll
have
do
read
is,
my mind.
yes, when you guys sign up as a Power Agent, you click on that Start My Trial, and it brings you to the page. You're going to get emailed a copy of the slides, the recording, everything. So all of the bonuses that where's the bonuses that I showed you guys is here. And so this is what you're going to get emailed to you. Now, the recording of the webinar and a copy of the slides, those are going to come to you. I don't think it happens right away, right? Because we have to take this recording and we have to generate something, or so there's a little delay on this recording because there's a couple of steps before it's ready to be emailed. Yeah.
Agreed. Mary says, problem list is getting the lists in the right form. How do you suggest getting them fixed correctly? I'm not sure, Mary.
So Mary's talking about how to get a mailing list to communicate. So gang, whenever you use a mailing list that you own and you're going to give it to another party, whether it's a CRM, whether it's a mailing house, in order for their software to understand your list, you have to match the columns, right? So your field for first name may be F name, meaning first name. So that's the column. But the other company, theirs might be spell out first name or first dash name. So you've got to take a little time to manually call your columns the same name as how the other software calls that column. And then you can sync and not sync, but upload it. So if you need help with something like that, the company that you are uploading to will help you. If it's our print portal, we here at the office we've contracted with a print portal company that's designed this for Power Agents, and they have a chat there, so they'll help you. So just reach out to them. Next question, Julie.
Awesome. What articles can you email versus mailing to current buyers or prospective sellers?
What articles can you email versus mailing?
Any of them. You can, it just, how you the format. You can either print and mail them, or you can save it as a PDF and send it. You can save it as a JPEG and send it.
Everything that's in the Power Program website, you can use it just like Julie said. You can, so I'll just visually give you an example, right? So if you go into farming, and if there's, let's go to letters. So everything's alphabetical. So here's flyers with an F, but here's letters. So let's say this letter for annual anniversary. This letter, you don't have to treat it as a letter, meaning you have to, you're going to physically mail it out to them. This letter, you can obviously do it as a print and put it in an envelope for sure. But you can actually just copy it, and then if I open up my email software or my CRM, I could just paste it. So, and that's all it is. It's just here. I'm going to paste it. Boom, I just pasted it. So everything in the Power Program can be universally used either as an email or as a print mailing. So anyway, next question, Joe.
How do I find the text suggestions that you had earlier in the website?
So if you're in the Power Program, the best way to find it is just go to the search, which Power Agents don't use this enough, and just write the word text. And you will find, it'll search the site for you, and there's the prospecting text and the text messages where we have two files. I don't know why, but we need to, Julie, we really should combine these two, can we? Yeah. So, but this is a Word document. So if you click on it, it'll open up, it's Word. And remember I said about copy and paste. So if I open up the Word, there it is. There's the text. I can just copy it and then paste it wherever I want to paste it.
Love it.
Any other questions?
I think we are coming to the end. Anybody have any additional questions? Pop them in the Q&A.
Or comments, questions or comments. If not, then I hope this was valuable for you. So power agents, just to talk to you guys for a second, make sure like every time you attend one of the sessions each week, because I know it's a lot. I mean, this is what we covered today. And first of all, some of you, if let's say this marathon story motivated you or inspired you, then just make sure you save that. Like you keep that section of the webinar to listen to over and over again before you prospect. There were a couple of things like when I was talking about, where was it, about the buyers versus being a client versus a customer, that this whole conversation, like maybe watch that and listen to it again, maybe download it and then put it on your phone and listen to it over and over again. The other thing, power agents, is make sure that you implement at least one thing every week. If you implement just one thing that I covered in any of the webinars, and you do that every week, you're going to be more productive and more effective. So, Mary, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Marie, for that about the Rocket Biz is only for iPhones. Anything for Android? Marie, I don't know. I'm sure there is. I will tell you, Marie, for mass texting, that would work. It's not the same as Rocket Biz, but it's called CallFire. So CallFire is a software that you pay as you go, and it can send out mass texts. You can use it as individual, but it's not on your phone, so you're in front of a computer. We use that here at Power Headquarters, CallFire. But you know what you can also do? If you type in Rocket Biz for Android, like Google that, you might find a competitor for Rocket Biz that does Android. So that's what I recommend. Google is an amazing thing, right?
It is, right?
Yeah.
Ida said, when asked what is a power agent, is there a simple definition? Can you go to that in the site?
Yeah, Ida. So Ida. So Ida, there's if I go to Classroom, that's a great question. Julie, are you there?
I am. Power agent purpose.
Okay, because I just closed something by mistake. So if I go to, I'm surprised that you're still there. Okay, there we are. Okay, if you go to Power Agent Purpose, and because I lost my screen on something, Julie, that's why.
Okay.
So if you go to Power Agent Purpose, what is a power agent? So in essence, a real estate professional who personifies, yeah, thank you, the culture and commitment of serving, not selling, of coaching, not closing, of giving more than taking. A power agent part of a world. So this is a long definition. I'll give you a simpler one, which is the email one. A power agent is a member of an exclusive program of dedicated professionals, less than 1% of agents across North America, committed to helping buyers and sellers get to their next level in life. Now, I want to tell you a couple of things. Power agent is a registered trademark, so only power agents can use that term. So if you see a non-power agent using that term, you let us know and they'll get a letter from our attorney. So that's number one. And the reason why is to protect you, so that way you can brand it, just like NAR protects realtor, same thing. Now, I'm going to show you an example. If I open up my email, what I really suggest that you do to help, really differentiate yourself is, let me show you this. If I'm going to write a new email to somebody, you will see as part of my signature, there's a PS. Let me know if there's anything I or my company can do to put a smile on your face. But there's also the definition of CSP, because after my name is the CSP designation, and a certified speaking professional was conferred by the National Speakers Association, blah, blah. Less than 2% of the speakers worldwide have it. So I put that in my signature line. So power agents, I suggest that you do the same thing with that definition. In addition, power agents is there's a power agent code of ethics, which you should use on listing appointments. I'm not going to get into teaching that. You can download it here. And if I scroll down, the power agent logos, you can download those as well. The last thing I want to tell you, just behind the scenes for power agents, is the reason we created this logo is this. First of all, there's a lot in the attitude about living from possibility, living from the future, And because of that, and because I'm also a Star Trek fan, there's a little bit of a Star Trek logo here. That's number one. Number two is if you look Power Agent P&A, you'll see the P in the logo, and you'll also see the A. Also, you will see that this could be the roof of a house, and this is circling it as to suggest that a power agent encircles the whole part of a transaction for buyers and sellers, helping them move from point A to point B in their life. So there's multiple meetings in that logo, which, by the way, there's all of that is explained in here as well. So, okay, and that's it on that. Any other questions, Julie?
Do you have letters to write to out-of-towners to ask if they're interested in selling? We have letters for everything, TKO.
We have letters for everything. So if you want to look for the letters, if you just go to prospecting, but mostly letters are going to be in farming because it's a mailing thing. So if you go to farming and then just go to letters, you'll see all the letters you could ever possibly want in real estate. Yes. And here's all the letters. There's letters for divorce. There's buyers, expireds, farming, rent by owners, for sale by owners, home staging, neighbor, blah, 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 blah. Next question, Julie, if any.
I think that's it. Anybody have any additional questions for us?
All right, we'll let them go. So listen, we're going to end the webinar. So here's what we're going to do. I hope it was valuable for you. What I'm going to recommend you do if you're a guest, once we hang up this webinar, that little floating bar is going to go away. So I'm going to recommend that you click on it right away and go to the website and reserve your spot. And for $5 you can't lose because there's just in the bonuses alone, it's a huge benefit, I think. So I want to thank everybody for spending your day, your time with us. We respect you and honor you for that. I hope it was valuable. I hope we did our job for you. And last thing I'm going to say is, please stay safe, stay focused in your business. And don't forget, you don't just help people buy and sell real estate. You help them get to their next level. And the money you make is a gauge as to how many lives you've touched. So just focus on helping people get to their next level and the money will follow. All right. Thanks again, gang. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate you. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Don't forget to keep smiling. Bye-bye.
Bye.